It's Eternity Genesis, or you can just call me Ryan. And today, I'm going to tell you how I got a detention and almost suspended for making a teacher cry. And when I say this, a lot of you are going to be like, oh, he's only just saying this to defend himself, like everybody else in the fucking world. But I really, when I say really, I mean really was not doing anything. Okay. So, and a lot of you are going to be like, well, this isn't really a teacher, it's a sub. Well, you know how kids are. Whenever there's a sub, we're not going to just sit there and do our fucking work. So we had this sub, and it was the second day of having the sub. The first day the sub was just acting like a complete bitch, which was weird, because the sub was normally like super fucking nice. So everybody was like, what? Why is she so mean? And we were all like super confused about it, because, you know, if you have a teacher that's normally like really nice and then mean, it just doesn't fucking make sense. So I was like, whatever. And I have the misfortune of I talk a fucking shit ton. If you let me, I can talk for a year. Just, you have to stop me. So a lot of you will end up knowing how this happened, what happened. So of course, I sit next to one of my very good friends, and you know, he calls his mom in the middle of class, just like messing around. And I was like looking at him, and I was making fun of him, and the sub goes, "Stop talking." I was like, whatever. Like, dude, I don't really fucking care what she thinks. She can think all she wants. Whatever. So, sitting there, I still talk. And we're about 10 minutes into the class, and I'm still talking. And this teacher goes, she looks at me and she goes, "Ryan, stop. I'll tell your mother." And I was like, shit, because my mom works at the school. So I was like, whatever. And I just continued to fucking talk. And she didn't really care for a little bit, so I was like, alright, she was just bluffing. She won't really tell my mom. Like, and next thing I know, she comes over. She walks over. And she looks at me. And then she just stands there for a good like 2 seconds. And then just says, "These 3 rows." And I was like, okay, that's fucking weird. Because after she said it, she just went right back to the teacher's desk and just sat down. I was like, what just happened, dude? Like, are we in trouble? Like, what? You know, I was very confused about that. Because, you know, I never have gotten a suspension or detention or anything before. I was kind of concerned about the fact that, hey, what if I get a detention? And later on in the class, it just pushed off in my mind, and the sub went back to playing on her little iPad. It was like, whatever, you know, not that big of a deal. She probably just forgot. We'll forget about it, whatever. So, later that day, after, you know, we changed hours, and then I was in 5th hour, and then I changed hour again, I got this text from a girl who has the teacher 6th hour, and she's like, "Hey, were you guys talking a lot in 4th hour?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Because the sub's crying right now." And I was like, "What?" And I don't have a 6th hour, so I was just sitting in my mom's class, just really doing nothing. And she goes, "Yeah, the sub is crying." And I was like, oh, maybe her dog died, you know, whatever. So, I'm like, whatever. And then the next day, you know, I'm all fine and dandy. I'm tired of shit, but other than that, I'm like, fine. And I walk to my 4th hour, and you know, act fucking super weird around my teachers. Because I feel like if I do that, then they'll just give me the luck of the draw, and they'll just think that I'm like super weird. And they won't like kill me whenever I do something wrong. It actually normally works, but my teacher hands me this slip of paper, and a lot of you guys may know what's happening now. After she hands me this sheet of paper, and it's empty, it's a sticky note. So I just look at her, and I was like, ooh, is it a present? And she's like, oh yeah, you'll like this one. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I wasn't really paying attention too much to what it was. And she was like, so I was like, cool, you know, piece of paper, whatever. Now, she walks into the room after the bell rings, and we can tell by the look on her face that shit is about to go down. And she goes, so you guys were really rude to your sub. I was like, yeah, and I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And she goes, so what's gonna happen now is you're gonna write down 5 names of kids who are talking. And if you get more than 5 names, you get a lunch detention. If you get more than 10 names, you get a morning detention. And if you get more than 15 names, you get a regular detention. And then she gives us all the paper. We all write our names down. And I was like, I'll be fine, you know. People like me. I didn't think I was talking that much. Whatever. Next second, I hand her a thing, and you know, me being me, I'm trying not to run myself out, because I was like, I'm not getting no fucking detention. So, my teacher goes, she collects it, and she's like, and she collects it, and she's like, did you write your name down? I was like, no, I wasn't really talking. And she's like, if you lie to me one more time, I'm giving you a suspension. I was like, what? I was like, because I asked the girl behind me, I was like, was I talking that much? And she was like, no, not really. So I was like all confused as shit, because I'm getting told off by a teacher on something that I didn't even really know that I did. So I got scared as shit, you know? You know, I didn't want to get suspended. I was like, fuck that, dude. Like, no. And I was like, oh, whatever. A lot of kids wrote down my name, but not that many gave her a sheet of paper. So, there was like only like 10 kids who gave her a sheet of paper. So I was like, whatever, I'll get like 1 detention, it'll be fine. You know. It just went on. And she goes, Ryan and Chase, I need to see you guys. And Chase is my friend who I sit next to, and I was like, oh, fuck. We're just fucking doomed. I was like, well, I'm not as bad as Chase, so whatever. And Chase is smart as shit, so that's kind of ironic. Like, Chase has straight A's. Like, he's a fucking genius, and he's in all advanced classes. So I got kind of scared. I was like, shit. She looks at me and she goes, Ryan, I know you're lying to me because you got 23 out of 24 votes. I was like, shit. Because I was like, the one person who didn't vote for me was me. So I was like, okay. And then she didn't say anything. And then Chase, and then she's like, Chase, you also have 23 out of 24 votes. And Chase just looks at me and is like, shit. So I walk around, I tell my mom, and she just sits there laughing at me because I got morning detentions. And then a week later, the detentions were every Thursday. She gave me the paper on Tuesday, so it was Wednesday. And I asked her, and I was like, how many detentions do I have? And she looks at me, and I was like, shit, I'm getting suspended now for not knowing. She goes, you have 3. And I was like, fuck. So I tell my mom, I was like, I have 3 detentions, and she was like, no, you only have 2. And I was like, well, I just asked my teacher, and she said I have 3. And she's like, why would you ask your teacher? I already had this worked out with her that you only had 2. I was like, okay, whatever. You know? Oh, well, an extra detention. That's not too bad. So, then I walk in to detention, and she goes, "Alright, well now you're scrubbing gum." And I look at her, and I'm like, I am not scrubbing gum off of the bottom of tables. And she's like, "You're either gonna do it or you get suspended. It's really your choice." So I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it, I'd rather do it and take one suspension than do it and just have 2 more suspensions rather than get suspended and have 2 more detentions. So, that was how I almost got suspended. Thank you all for watching.